Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our sunrise safari. And it seems as though we are going to have an epic morning because, well, the tracks in the sand tell a tale of intrigue. Now, my name is Tristan, and on camera today I've got Senzo, who's a smiling man, given that we've seen lion tracks chasing buffalo. We know Senzo loved lions, so we're going to try and see if we can find them. Lots of commotion on the Dam Cam last night, so thank you to all of you that let us know on Twitter as well as on the Dam Cam chat. It's always so nice when we get up in the morning and we have lots of things to follow up on. So, it is interactive, as you may then wonder, because it is hashtag Safari Live on Twitter and YouTube chat should you want to ask any more questions or let us know if you see anything at the dam. I know Byron's gone down to the dam quickly to check, but I have a feeling that this Nkuhuma Pride chased that herd of buffalo that Byron had last night. As I told Byron, I said to him that this is going to happen, and so it seems as though they've followed those buffalo towards quarantine, and we've heard some rumblings and carrying on. So I want to quickly try and see if I can't just get down to quarantine and see if I can't find this. But I think that there is, well, see if I can find it, should I say, not can't. I'm sure that there is a kill somewhere here and that these lions had a go. There's just tracks for buffalo and lions everywhere along the road here, so they certainly did go after them. And whether or not they were successful, well, I'm not quite sure just yet, but they paced up and down here. There was lots of tracks of different individuals, and so I'm hoping that if they did kill, it was somewhere close by. So I want to just quickly shoot round this side, because the sounds that we were hearing and the calling was all from this southern section here. Like I say, Byron's checking the dam in case there's not some lying up at the dam, but let's quickly go and have a look. And talking about Byron, he's out and about, and well, shame poor Byron has a bit of a sore back, so we're going to have to go easy on him this morning, but I'm sure he's keen to say hello. Let's go across to him.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Byron, and on camera with me this morning is the French connection himself, Sebastian. And now we are also in search of these lions. We heard lions calling only a few minutes ago, and it sounded like very close to camp in this area, in this vicinity. And I've had no sign just yet of these lions. And Tristan's also going to come and have a look around here. So hopefully between the two of us we'll be able to find this pride, and it sounds like Tristan had tracks of those buffalo that we saw yesterday, and possibly this pride of lions tried to hunt them. So I'm sure we're going to have some luck. It's going to take just a bit of time to track them and find out exactly where they are. But let's see, I'm very excited about this. Wouldn't mind a bit of a lion fix this morning. And good morning, Patricia. Now, Patricia, you say that Tristan and I you're calling us the dynamic duo. I'm just having a look at the moment. Tristan's just on the radio. I'm actually going to do a loop around. We'll head down this side, while Tristan and them go around that way. That's a nice thing about tracking like this, is we'll work together, and he will go one way and I'll go the other way, and hopefully we can get some fresh tracks and find these lions. It helps a lot. Working together like this, one of us should hopefully find them. Safari holic. Apparently Tristan mentioned I have a sore back this morning. I do. It's one of those things, you know. I think it's from years of driving a Land Rover and turning around. Megan says it's old age. Thanks, Megan. I think turning around and talking to guests like this the whole time isn't great. Rugby's definitely one, but yesterday I was exercising in that, and then one of the vehicles wasn't starting. There, well spotted. There we go. There we found a lion. Fantastic. There it is. Hold on a second. I'm going to try to get us into position here. There, let's have a quick look from here. Oh, beautiful, one of the males. Let me just let Tristan and them know. Oh, great. Tristan and Rexon, if you copy, looks like a single male at Gari Dam, or Vuyatela Dam at the moment, drinking. You know what, everyone? Yeah, I'm going to go on the other side quickly. So I do think that because these lions have been a number of lions that have come down to drink, so that's another sign that would tell us that they've probably made a kill. So, well, the reason I say that is because lions get, or predators in general, get quite thirsty when they have made a kill. So they the blood in that of any prey species is quite salty, and it can make them thirsty. So I'm going to have a good look around here. There might be some others, but let's see. This beautiful male is drinking. Oh, this is going to be a wonderful shot, everyone. I'm very excited about this. Hold on. Seb, is that okay, or do you want me to go right round?
I think it's
let's quickly go. Yeah. Hold on. Just trying to get into a position quickly. I'm sure the rest of the pride is somewhere around here. Tristan's still going to look around, but look at that. This is going to be amazing. Here we go. Is that okay, Sebastian?
Thank you.
Much better. Look at that. Now I wonder, we might see another lion popping out, perhaps. Let's see, can we see? You know what? It does look like he has been feeding on something. Have a look at his face. It looks like there's a bit of blood around his nose. I do think, but look at him lapping up that water. Very, very thirsty. Anna Marie, you say, what a nice way to start Feline Friday. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. I'm so happy. It's always nice to see these beautiful large predators. Jenny Animation, you say, what a handsome male he is indeed. Look at those beautiful, beautiful eyes. Now just have a look. If you look closely, you'll see how his tongue is it basically laps up the water with his tongue curled backwards. So the lions, well, the big cats rather, they don't get a lot of water with each lap, and that's often why they stay down and they drink for a very long time. Oh, he looks like he's got a nasty injury there. Let's look at that. Now, you know what I find fascinating? We don't know what happened now. Was he injured because they were hunting something last night? Or was he injured during the hunt? Looks like he's got a nasty gash under that front right leg. But you know what? I wouldn't be too fazed or too worried. I'll tell you why. These animals, especially these predators, I've noticed they have an amazing ability to heal very, very quickly. So even though they do get injured, they do get hurt, I've seen some really nasty scars that heal very, very quickly. Some of you saying that that looks quite sore. Like I say, they do have the ability to heal very, very quickly. I'm going to drive around again. Let's go back to the other side of the dam, and then follow this male. Maybe he takes us to the rest of the pride, if Tristan hasn't found them already. Oh no, Tristan's busy tracking. So I wouldn't. Curious one. You say we found a lion before you even made your first cup of coffee. Well, that's always good. That's always good. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if these lions made a kill in a drainage line somewhere or in a thicket. Let me just reposition for us quickly. Shelley, you asked how much would a lion drink in a single sitting. Shelley, you know what? It's a bit difficult to say. Now I'm just going to wait here. There's another vehicle that's in the sighting. This male's going to come past this bush in front of us. Here he comes. Now, Shelley, I'm not sure exactly how much they would drink. And it's, you know, actually, I don't know, Shelley. I wouldn't be able to give you an accurate estimate. I think it depends on how thirsty they are. I think a male like this, he looked really thirsty. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised, a litre of water. He's moving quite quickly. It looks like he's quite intent on getting back to a kill of sorts. Well, that's what I think. That's what I think. He's definitely, it looked like he spotted something. Yeah, there's some. What he did spot was some guests at Voyatella. They standing on the deck watching. They're not quite out yet for their drive. See, early bird catches the lion in this instance. Safari holic, you say, it doesn't look like he's limping. No, it doesn't. So, like I say, often these animals have the ability. I mean, they get injured, but you know, it might look worse than it actually is. And as I said, they do heal very, very quickly. Now, have a look at him. Yeah, he's definitely not limping. I mean, if we didn't see that scar, you wouldn't have noticed. But he does look like he's got a full belly. I'm just going to let the other vehicle go ahead of us so they can get a view of him. But this is so exciting. This is great. I wonder where these other lions are. Alright, we'll try to follow this lion, see where he's going. Let's head back to Tristan, find out how the tracking is going, and if he's managed to find any more sign of the rest of the pride.
Well, Byron, we have found tracks coming straight towards where you are, so I haven't driven there because, well, leave it to Byron now. I think that male's going to take them straight to where the Nkuhuma Pride is, and I'm putting money on it that they have a kill somewhere here. I would say somewhere close to Inga's, maybe in this block that I'm just driving along. There's tracks for males going up and down here, so I'm sure it's somewhere on my right hand side. Nothing goes further south onto Philemon's or Ingwe Alley, so I think wherever these lions are, they're behind me somewhere. But with Byron following that male, it makes no sense for me to be in the area because that male will lead him to wherever he needs to go. So I'm going to leave it up to them and let them have a chance to follow and to find. In the meantime, I'm going to go and search for something else. I I thought maybe we'll just follow the tracks to see if we can't find the females in the meantime. But now that male's mobile back in the direction that I think the females are in, it's going to be better just to have one vehicle. Otherwise, we're going to become very congested over there. And so I wish Byron luck. There's no sign of anything coming further south than where I am now. And like I was saying, the tracks were going up and down close to, well, just south of the dam there. So I'm sure they're somewhere on that western side of Twin Dams, between Twin Dams and Quarantine. That's where I think they are. I can see the tracks for the male coming up here, but the tracks that were heading south no longer head south anymore. So they must be somewhere behind me, and we'll just have to wait. Exciting to start the day like this. I'm very happy for Byron as well to have finally gotten some cat action, because he's been trying, and last night he had frustrating afternoon with the leopard, which is also a big surprise and news that I wanted to actually share with all of you, and I think I'm going to actually head that way now. That leopard that
wow, look, he's walking right past us. There he goes. There's definitely blood on his nose. Hey, did he have a look at you, Seb?
And then he accelerated,
Yeah, he walked right past us there. So let's try. We'll carry on following him. Sorry, I'm sorting everything out here. That is amazing. I'm just going to give him a chance. He's just walking past the other vehicle. Again, just from a sensitivity point of view, and there's a sunrise, but when animals are walking close to other vehicles, and I've always done this, I won't start the vehicle. I'll just sit and wait until it's walked past the other vehicle. Sorry, Seb, and then only start. And like I said, the reason is just being sensitive, and so that the other guests. Okay, no, sorry, I'm just listening to Alice. Sorry, as I was saying, with animals walking past the vehicles, it gives the other guests an opportunity just to enjoy the animal walking past quietly, and they can hear everything. So it's from sensitivity and respect for the other people. I never start the vehicle if animals are walking close to the other cars. Now Alice says someone mentioned that there was a Lion Pride on the dam cam, but now I don't know, is that now or have they left already? We'll try to get a better update. I mean, we were just okay. Now I wonder, should we? Let me just chat to Rexon quickly. Rexon, do you copy? Rex, apparently the rest of the pride is at the dam now. Do you want to stick with the male? I'll go down to the dam, or if you'd like to go down to the dam, I'll stick with the male. Okay, copy info. So I'll tell you what. I'm going to stay with the male then, Tristan, and see where he goes. Maybe he takes us back to a kill. I'm sure the rest of the pride will follow shortly. I don't think they'll go too far. So Rexon's going to head down there, and I'll stick with the male. Copy. You're more than welcome to go there now, just if you want. So maybe Tristan can go to the rest of the pride. It sounds like they're at the dam at the moment, but I'd like to follow this male, and like I said, maybe he takes us to a kill. He's quite intent, or he's walking with the intention of going. It looks like he's heading to a kill. So I don't know. Let's see. Isn't that great? Look at those beautiful paws. This is exciting. This is what morning safaris are meant to be like. Lions everywhere. We heard them calling, trying to find out, is there a kill? Maybe it was something small that they finished and they've decided to go and drink. I'm not sure. But luckily, there are a few of us out. So we can work together and hopefully find out exactly what's happened. Sebastian, they're fresh line tracks here.
For leopard or lion?
Stanley, you say yes, we should stay with the male. Yeah, I agree. Hang on, let's have a look here. Just watch these impalas straight ahead of us. They're busy alarm calling. Now just watch them, and the reason why none of them have run away. They're not far from this male. None of them have run away because they can see the male clearly. Now, it's amazing to see how the impala, for example, react differently to different predators. So as long as they can see that male, they'll alarm call. Watch, there's actually one moving a little bit closer. It was walking towards the lion, that one on the left. And the reason they do that is they do not want to lose sight of the male. As long as they can see it, they know there's no danger, there's no threat. That male would not have any chance of hunting these impala. It's too open, they can see it coming, and they would be able to run away very quickly. But it's interesting to see the behavior of how they react to a male lion walking through a clearing. Not phased, they've stopped alarm calling now. As long as they can keep an eye on him, that's the most important thing. Then he doesn't have that element of surprise, he can't ambush them. And impala haven't moved, they're still standing there. It's about time we saw a big male lion. I'm trying to have a better look at this cut just on the side and see what's happened. Is it? Yeah, there's definitely a gash. It looks like it's actually under the front right leg. So I wouldn't be surprised if, yeah, you know what? From the tracks that we've seen, I would guess that these lions hunted last night. They came across that herd of buffalo that we saw, possibly tried to hunt a buffalo, maybe got one, but picked up an injury during the hunt. That would be my guess. But let's see. It's all going to unfold. Hopefully, it's all going to unfold for us. So we'll be able to piece this all together. But it's nice that we can kind of have an idea of what we think has... Can you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Chitty chatty Meg, I'm going to get to your question shortly. Just give me a second. Looks like the kill is...
More lions there, I think.
Can you see them, Seb? I'm always a bit low. There we go. And everyone, we were right. It is a buffalo. It is a buffalo. Now, let me reposition quickly. While I do that, chitty chatty Meg, you just asked, why is the male with the pride? No, it looks like there is another lion there. You thought that the males were in coalitions and the prides, you know, the females and the youngsters generally together. Meg, that's not always the case. We know the males will definitely help the females when they're hunting, especially something large like a buffalo. And that, I think, is exactly what happened here. The males, every now and then, they meet up with the rest of the pride. They'll try and hunt, and they will help the females or the pride if it's something large. Yeah, it's a big buffalo. They've hardly, it looks like they've killed it recently or early this morning. You know what, I'm going to go around the other side there so we've got nice light. But let's just stop here quickly. So Meg, so the males will follow the pride. They will help with the hunt from time to time. And there we go, you can see there's that buffalo. Well, there we go. The puzzle has revealed itself. I like what I did there. So the all the clues basically helped us piece this together. Tristan saw the tracks of the buffalo, saw tracks of the lions drinking. We know they were thirsty, they must have made a kill, and an injury on a male lion. The only animal likely to have done that would have been a buffalo, and that's exactly what's happened. I'm just going to update the other guys quickly. Alright, now while I do that, it sounds like Tristan has found the rest of the pride. Let's quickly go across to him and find out where they are.
We have, so they all mobile north now, which is interesting. So it seems that they're going opposite way of where that carcass is. Maybe the Birmingham Boys have come in and stolen it, and they've decided they've had their fill and they're now going to move back northwards. And I wonder if maybe there's not another male around somewhere as well, but it looks like the Nkuhuma Pride is just the 4 females, so I don't know if there's a 5th one with Byron at that carcass, or it could be our young female that's maybe gone to go and tend to her cubs after a healthy bit of buffalo. I'm really hoping that these guys decide to settle down fairly close by. So there we go, there is a female with Byron, which means that all 4 other females are accounted for as far as I can see, because there's 1, 2, 3, and there should be a 4th one here somewhere. I think there was a 4th one, but we're going to try and keep up with them. They are moving north, so if they keep it up through the morning, unfortunately they're going to probably cross out, which is not ideal. So I'm hoping that they're going to settle down just here. They've had some food, they've got a drink, and they can then take it easy. The interesting thing is that their bellies are not exactly massive. I would have thought they would have had much bigger bellies after eating buffalo. It's not like they're empty, but they're not as big as I would have thought. Generally when lions kill buffalo, they gorge themselves on food, but maybe they've decided they're just going to leave it. I don't know where the buffalo headed from, where these lions killed that one, but maybe they've decided it's time to hunt again and to try find buffalo once again. So that's going to be interesting. I'm hoping though that they all settle down and lie down. But isn't this cool just to have them all in the road in front of us? What an epic way to start a day. So male lions, Nkuhuma Pride, buffalo kills, it's all happening, and it's amazing to see every single time there is a buffalo on this property, the Nkuhuma Pride manages to get one. It's amazing to me that their skill and their technique to hunt these buffalo must be incredible, because even though the buffalo are weaker at this time of the year, the buffalo are not in nearly as bad a condition as they were last year, and yet they're still managing to bring them down with ease at the moment, which is fantastic. So the only problem is every time we get a buffalo that gets killed, so the buffalo never stay here. But that's okay, at least it brought the lions for a few days. And look at that, all moving down the ditch together. Is that not a sight for sore eyes? Senzo says it's like we're not even here. Makeup girl, you say look at the shaggy coats on those cubs. Yes, well the cubs are covered in bits of blood and all kinds of other things, and dung and varying horrible bits, so they are a little bit on the messy side. They will groom it out as soon as it gets warmer. They will groom it out, so I'm just letting Rex go ahead of me so that he can carry on, and we'll try and see if we can't get around, or can get around, should I say, towards the front of these lions as we go. This is how it works when we follow lions like this and they're mobile, is that it's a game of leapfrog. So everybody has a chance in front, and then we go into the back. Now, Byron has still sat with his male, who I believe is now having a little sleep. So let's go back to him and see whether or not he's going to devour that carcass, or if he's just going to nap the rest of the day.
No, Tristan, this male has actually started feeding with the lioness. And have a look at that now. Oh, that is actually a beautiful shot. That side lighting on that male. At least from this angle, Sebastian and I were just talking about positioning. Sebastian, are you happy here? Just thinking for now, and then because we can see that lioness too while she's feeding at the back, but there's lovely light on the face of the male. I think if we park the other side, we might not see his face. Now this is amazing. Now I don't know where the rest of the pride are going. It sounds like they're going up Mvubu Road, which is in the opposite direction of this. I wonder if they didn't make another kill. Copy that, Rex, copy. Just getting an update from Rex, and sounds like they might be heading in this direction too. Lynn, you said, wouldn't it be interesting if they did have another killed? Yeah, it looks like a cow. Charlie, right now, sorry, I'm just going to turn this radio down for a bit, the Game Drive radio. Charlie, you said, isn't this rare to see a male and female feeding at the same time? Well, Charlie, you know what? It's not as rare as you would think. And what happens, Charlie, is, let's say, for example, they killed something small, a small kill, like an impala, for example. There's not a lot of meat there, so the male will try and get the lion's share, as it were. So he would try his best to get as much of that meat as possible, and he wouldn't likely share with the females that are around, and would probably chase them off. This is a massive carcass, and you can see what's happening is the female's feeding on one side of the buffalo, the male's on the other side. There's no direct competition there, so he would be happy to share this for now. The rest of the pride isn't around. It's perfect for them. They've got a lot of food there for both these lions. There's no reason for them to fight or for him to get aggressive with that female. If the rest of the pride came, I would assume the rest of the pride would also probably feed on this carcass, as long as they don't get too close to that male and he has got a space where he can feed, and it is fine. But this looks like it was killed fairly recently. I'd say within the last probably 2 hours. I would guess. So maybe around 4 o'clock this morning, 4 o'clock. I can hear him crunching there actually. This is exciting. This is great. And you see, I mean, some days we drive all over and we track and we look for these animals, and it's very difficult to find them. Other days, right outside camp, we heard lions, we saw tracks, we saw buffalo tracks. We actually spoke about this last night. We found the buffalo, and we said, I wonder if the lions are not going to try and chase these buffalo and hunt them. Oh wow, look at that. Look at the light in his eye. So yeah, I mean, everything has panned out the way we thought. And the nice thing too is that it's right out in the clearing. So we've got beautiful views of them feeding on the buffalo. Now, don't get me wrong, I mean, it is sad that, the buffalo was killed, but just remember everyone, this is survival of the fittest, and the predators do need to eat. I mean, we are always sensitive to both prey and predator. We definitely are. But lions, we haven't seen lions on a buffalo kill for quite some time. We haven't seen many buffalo around. So this is just good for these lions. Lucy, you wondered if this buffalo was possibly pregnant because it's so big. Lucy, I don't think so. I think what's happened is, what often happens is the gases build up within the carcasses once they have died, and it causes them to bulge. I think that's what that is. I think it's just a build up of gas within the stomach at the moment. I'm just listening to other vehicles. I hope they oh, there they can see us. Looks like it. There we go. So some other people will be joining us soon. I'm still surprised that the rest of the pride haven't returned. David, it does appear as if they're feeding on the best bits first. So the rump of the buffalo is often the softest part. the softest part, and maybe the shoulder section that the male is feeding on at the moment. But yeah, lions do that. They try to feed on the softer meat. Oh wow, there we go. And our friend Rexon is just just joined, and he said there might even be a few steaks for me. Rexon. Wow, look how powerful that male is. That buffalo possibly weighs around, I would guess this female buffalo is close to 600 kilograms. Males get up to about 800 kilograms, so maybe 500-600. Watch, he's getting aggressive with her now. And that female just growled. But you see, I think the reason for that is because he's now getting a bit closer to her. But like I said, look how powerful he is to be able to move that carcass. It's almost like he doesn't know where he wants to feed.
As long as the growling, I mean, the female finds if you reach her to the contact calling, the male do not realize that it's not a female. So this is just so it's actually good match. You must have to now
Inyama in a corner, so. Lord. Just asking my friend James if they did find another kill with the Pride. He says he didn't see anything. Not James Henry, but James Suela, who I used to work with at Londolozi actually. He's a tracker. This is, I mean, really just great timing for all of us. I mean, we got to find the lions, we got to find the kill. And it happens like that. Sometimes other guides will find it, let us know. But now, everybody will get a good view, hopefully. Tristan says he called it last night, and he did. Tristan said, yeah, I wonder if those lions aren't going to hunt the buffalo. And when we did find them, now Michael, you asked how much. Something startled that female. I think it was a branch that snapped. Michael, you asked how much meat in kilograms can the male eat compared to a female. Well, it's, you know, sometimes they can feed on about I think it's close to a male maybe just over 100 kilograms of meat. It's like 80 kilograms, 100 kilograms. It's like 160, 200 pounds of meat. And a female will be a bit less than that. But you know, it depends. It depends how hungry they are. But yeah, they can feed on a lot of meat. But females will be much less. Alright, well, I think we'll sit here a little bit longer and see what these lions get up to and see if the rest of the Pride are going to join us. But let's head over to the Oracle himself, Tristan, who called this apparently, and see where the rest of the Pride is.
Well, Byron, yesterday you laughed at me because I said to you that they're going to hunt buffalo and you said no, I was being silly. But look where we are and look how we're sitting. So it was a bit of luck, obviously. There's no guarantee on any of these things. The only thing I do know about the Nkuhumas is if there is a buffalo anywhere within earshot or scent shot, there is no ways that they're not going to attempt to hunt buffalo. And it's the first herd of buffalo that we've seen on Djuma in some time. And it's amazing that we haven't had any sign of the Nkuhuma Pride for, well, it's like 5 days now, 4 or 5 days, and all of a sudden, first herd of buffalo and the Nkuhumas are back in with striking distance. What really is odd to me, though, is that they've left that carcass. I don't understand why they would have gone and drank and then come further north. They've almost headed away from the carcass rather than back towards it. Even though there's a Birmingham boy there, they typically won't leave a carcass just for a Birmingham boy. The whole pride normally sticks around, unless they're a bit unsure about it. Maybe Nsuku's been in a bad mood and came in like a house on fire and pushed them all off it, and they've decided, well, they'll go back maybe later this afternoon once he's had his fill. I'm not quite sure, but it's just interesting that they have moved in this direction and headed a little bit further north of where the kill is itself. And you can see Amber Eyes is having a very good grooming session. So earlier we were talking about the cubs looking a bit dirty, and this is now what's going to happen, is they're all going to get groomed. They're going to get rid of all the blood and bits of stomach content and all the other stuff that they've gotten on themselves, lick any wounds that they may have picked up hunting buffalo, because buffalo hunting is not a game that is played easily. And so you'll find there will be the odd little sort of puncture mark maybe if a horn got them. And so they just get rid of all of those kind of things. And umpires, you're going to roll over. Look at that. And you can see one at the back is being groomed. So it's definitely the younger female by the looks of it that's not here. I think she must be with Nsuku that side. And I wonder if we're not going to find any of the other Birmingham boys coming in at some stage. The noise of a buffalo being killed will often attract the others, and you'll find them coming in and trying to wrestle in on that carcass. And I wouldn't be surprised if tonight maybe Tinyo or Mfumo or one of them arrives back in this area. Here's one of the cubs. It looks like the young male potentially. You see it's getting a little thicker collar of fur around the chin area, so I think it's the young male. I'll have to have a look, but he's the only male within the cubs. The other 5 cubs are all females, and it looked like all 6 cubs are here, so that's good news as well. Always when the Nkuhumas go away, kind of have to recount the cubs again just to make sure everybody's safe. Even though we decided the last time they're not really cubs anymore, we should start calling them sub-adults at some point, that they all are well and healthy. With so many male lions around and so many sort of movement of the Nkuhuma Pride, it's often a bit of a worry when they head off into places that is extremes of their territory. So the extreme north in the Manyaleti, kind of often wonder whether or not there's others that are around that potentially could hurt them. Now, Senzo, I'm going to move you slightly just so we can get a better angle on the cub being groomed. There's one of the other lionesses. So I just want to try and get into this position here, because that will be better for cub being cleaned. And it looks like the youngest cub with the amber eyes that's being groomed at the moment by mom. So there we go, look at that. Isn't that a face of happiness? It's like, yes, mom, clean me. I've eaten too much. Now you must clean me. I'm too lazy to do it myself. And there's like, you see the eyes are much darker than the other cubs. It's almost like amber eyes. Not as vivid as what amber eyes' color is, but they still have that darker, deeper color than what we see on the honey-colored lionesses of the Nkuhumas, and also on the other cubs. Most of the other cubs also have that honey color like that lion is there. But this is certainly one of a content pride at the moment. They're looking as though they're very happy with life. They've fed. It's now time just to rest. The sun is starting to come up, and I'm so surprised that we're having a day of warm weather, because last night Taylor and I went and saw some of our friends that are staying at Nkoro, and we went to go and just catch up with them, and it was really quite blustery last night. The wind was howling. It was freezing cold. It wasn't very pleasant at all, and I thought we were going to wake up to a horrible, cold, windy morning, but we've got quite the opposite. It's warm, it's clear, there's not a breath of wind, so I'm super glad that it all kind of blew itself out during the night, and I'm sure that's why the Nkuhuma Pride picked up the scent of those buffalo. The wind was howling, and it was really blowing a gale, and so the scent would have drifted a lot further than had it been a still morning like this, and that's maybe why they picked them up. Let's see, is this our young male on the left here? Yes, it is the young male. Ted, you want to know at what age the younger lions, the sub-adults or cubs, will start participating in hunts? Well, it's interesting because generally you'll find it's only around sort of a year and a half, 2 years that they'll actually start participating properly, and only around 2.5 years that they're actually of any use to the adult females, because prior to that they generally are quite small, they're often inexperienced, and they get in the way a little bit more. And particularly with buffalo, they're too small to really make too much of a difference. But the Nkuhuma Pride last year, with the drought and the buffalo being as weak as they were already introducing their cubs to how to kill at a young age. I remember seeing a video of the cubs. They must have been about 4 or 5 months old at the time, and they were being shown, and they were jumping on a live buffalo and getting it by the throat. But the buffalo was so weak that it was a lesson that could be given to the cubs early on. But generally you'll find that they're only really participating in hunts from about 2 years old. They prior to that are smaller, they don't have the bulk, and also completely inexperienced. They need time to watch their mothers, see how things go, and then they can start actively hunting with the rest of the pride. But you can see how it's all about grooming at the moment, just trying to clean themselves up, get rid of all the blood that they've got on them. And then I think it's going to be pass out session for the day. I wouldn't be surprised we see these Nkuhumas going back towards the pan and then back towards that carcass at some point. But I'm very surprised that they left it already. I would have thought, given that they haven't fed that much, that they would have tried to at least have some sort of a stand with the Birminghams and just make sure that they feed with him. Although you never know, when the Birminghams are grumpy, they're properly grumpy. And I remember watching them the last buffalo kill that they had. We went out with the staff after the drive had finished, and we watched how the Birminghams came in, and they are not very pleasant around a carcass. They were growling and carrying on, and it was really only Amber Eyes that actually stood her ground. The rest disappeared and left it. So maybe they just have learned from that, and they've decided it's better just to carry on and go and find another meal than to actually fight with one of the Birmingham Boys over food. I think Amber Eyes is done for the day. She's had enough, and the rest as well. Nikki, you're wondering how tough the solo male's life is going to be without any brothers. So the answer to that, Nikki, is very tough. It's not going to be easy at all, unless he can find himself a little partner in crime. So the previous male that was born to the Nkuhuma Pride, who's called Junior, he was also a single solo male, and life for him was looking as though it was going to be very, very difficult. And he somehow managed to join up with a male of a similar age, and the two of them now roam around to the north of us, around the Open Gate area, and are seen sometimes in northern Manyeleti and the southern Timbavati, and they seem to be doing just fine. So if he can find another coalition member from somewhere else, which would be interesting if he was able to do that, it would be not a common occurrence at all, but if he did, then his chances would infinitely increase. But a single lone male lion is very, very difficult. And in my time in the Sabi Sands, of the single male lions that I've seen, the Styx males and varying others, there's been very few that have actually made it all the way through and become territorially dominant. It's only the Nkuhuma Pride that's, funny enough, seems to produce these young males that are able to sort of find their way. So we had the Nkuhuma male prior to Junior. He also managed to join up with a different male and form a coalition in Manyeleti. But if they just stay by themselves like the Styx male, they generally meet an untimely end, unfortunately. So it's going to be really tough for him, and he's going to have a hard time of it over the next little bit. Well, not the next little bit. The next little bit he's going to have, well, heaven. He's got 5 females that are hunting and finding food for him, but once he becomes sort of 3.5, he's going to have a tough time. Now we're going to stay with our lions and watch Amber Eyes and the rest have a lovely nap and see if they do decide to get up and start moving back towards the carcass or the dam. While we do that, let's go back to Byron and see how his male's doing and whether his male has feasted himself to a Christmas dinner-like belly.
Not quite yet, Tristan. Look at that big hoof of the buffalo. That male, as I said, he hasn't quite got a full belly yet. I think they've just started feeding. So interesting to see. I would have thought that they would have fed on more of the carcass, judging by them being so thirsty, unless they were just, oh, that's beautiful light. Look at that female. golden light on her eyes. Really, really lovely. Now, this male, as I said, they haven't fed too much just yet, so their bellies aren't that full. That's a lovely shot, actually, of those beautiful eyes. But I think Tristan's right, that perhaps this male chased the rest of the pride off, or they're a little bit nervous. Oh, look at that! Wow! Look at him pulling that whole buffalo. That's amazing. We're in a perfect position here. We've got perfect light, and we can see both male and female. Yeah, this. Wow. That blood. Excuse me. That blood is bright red, and especially in this light that we've got at the moment for photography, this is really, really great. Stations, just an update. These animals have only just started feeding on the carcass, so there's still going to be a lot of activity. I'm going to probably be another 5-10 minutes and I'll make space. I know Jost is interested in moving in, and then Mike will update you after that too. Copy, and I know Duncan is also interested in making his way into this area. We will keep you all updated. Like I say, they've just started feeding. That is such a great sight. I mean, it's sometimes, I know some of you might be thinking it's a bit gory, and it can be, but watching lions feeding like this. Ruth, you say this is gorgeous. Yes, I suppose it is. Ruth, very clever. But yeah, we've definitely got the best position here at the moment. The light, and just watching this male feed. Look at that. That's a really, really great scene. That female, she's a beautiful female too. Now these lions, I really hope, I must be honest, I really hope the rest of the pride do come and feed on this carcass. I'm sure they would have helped this hunt and this kill. So for them not to feed would be a shame. Hopefully this male just fills his belly and eventually decides to lie down and allow the rest of the pride to come and feed. Okay, so apparently Tristan was saying the rest of the pride look quite full. Now, so that's interesting. I wonder if these lions didn't make 2 kills during the evening. It's very possible. Lions are so opportunistic, and maybe the pride made 1, and then the male came through, and when they went looking for water, they chased and hunted another another buffalo. That could have possibly have happened. Sure. The way he's pulling at that carcass. This is, I must be honest, I think this is a photographer's dream right here. Perfect morning light, and out in the open there's nothing obstructing a view for us. At least that female is getting quite a lot of meat at the rump of that buffalo. Every time this sorry, just watching this male too, but every time he rips, his whole mane moves. It's quite impressive to see. Watch, thick mane waving about as he rips at the meat. Susan, you asked where the hyenas are. Well, Susan, I don't think we would see a hyena nearby for a while, especially with the male lion being around. If it was just the pride, possibly, but I think if the hyena pick up on the scent of a male or heard a male, the chances are they won't stay around or hang around, because male lions, as we know, would potentially kill hyena. So yeah, I think that's why we're not going to. I don't think we're going to see hyena around for a while. Maybe later tonight. But with male lions around, I don't know. I'm just trying to think. I don't know when last I saw hyena around a kill when there was a male feeding. Colleen, you asked if I ever find it difficult or hard to watch feeding or a hunt. To be completely honest, no, I don't. And I don't mean that in an insensitive way at all. I think, you know what, I think the best way to describe it, Colleen, is I've grown up going to in the bush, going on holidays and spending so much time in the bush, working in the bush permanently. It's not something I would say you get used to, but I think the understanding of this is nature, this is nature's way. Look at those claws. Sorry, just look at those amazingly sharp claws. The male lion is obviously contracting the muscles in the paws at the moment, which causes those claws to come out, so he can hold on to that carcass while he's feeding. So as I was saying, it doesn't. It's not a case of being insensitive. I think it's a case of the understanding of nature, and this is part of nature. Watching lions feed, and we've also seen lions get killed. So I mean, it's for some people who aren't used to it. Yes, I can understand it can be a bit gory and not easy to see at times. But for the purpose of wildlife filming and especially safari life, we watch hunting and we watch animals being killed and fed on, but we also see the predators get injured and get hurt, and it's so that you can understand the natural environment a bit better. This is what happens. This is nature at its best. It really is. It's nature is not. It's not always easy to see. Nature's not kind and caring all the time. Nature's harsh. Nature's very harsh, actually. So but anyway, it is what it is, and luckily we're able to show you this, so we can, so you've got a better idea of what goes on out here. But there is a soft side to nature, and the softer side of the team this morning is Tristan, and he's sitting with the rest of the Pride of Lions. Let's go see what they're doing.
Oh, Byron, if only that were true, mister. I fell, hurt my back, can't walk, have to take pain medication so I can sleep. definitely think that he's the softer side of what's going on at the moment, and I'm sure Taylor would agree as well. I know Taylor is up and watching because, well, she's can't sleep. She's an insomniac, so this morning when we came down, even though it's her morning off, she was already awake and greeting us, and so I'm sure she will agree with me that Byron's the softer one since he's got the old man back at the moment. But yes, talking about softer side of nature, well, I don't know about softer side, but definitely sleepy side of nature at the moment. These lions have passed out completely. There is not one single head up at the moment. Everybody is flat, and tired and having a really good nap. Well, there's actually one that's not flat, and there's that female over there who's sitting very unladylike at the moment with paws in the air and legs open. But if you're a lion, that is the best way to rest and relax. They open themselves up like that so that they actually help with cooling down. They think they're getting quite warm in the sun already, because you can see her tummy is right in the sunshine, so she might be getting a little bit hotter as she tries to digest that tummy full. Now, as been told that the buffalo has not been eaten much at all, so it's possible that these guys killed something else. It really is the buffalo herd that Byron saw last night. I have no idea if there was young buffalo inside there. There might have been young buffalo in that herd that they grabbed a small one, and that's why they've eaten that and moved off, or they could have had another carcass altogether. But they've definitely come from the same direction that male came from, so I wonder if they possibly, as you'll surmise maybe, or that we surmise, that they could have had another kill. It is possible. I don't know. I obviously haven't seen the other kill, so it's difficult to say how much of that carcass has been eaten, but given that the Birmingham male is tearing into the face of that buffalo, would mean that these guys probably didn't eat much of that. So maybe they brought it down, and then they managed to chase another one and bring that one down, and they've eaten off that one, and there might be 2 kills, but I'm not sure. The thing is, if there was 2 kills, I would be very surprised if these lions had left a whole buffalo that's completely uneaten to itself, well, not uneaten, should we say, half-eaten, because their tummies are not full enough to have digested a fully grown buffalo and eaten all of it. So maybe they got a younger one, or they caught something else, maybe a wildebeest or a zebra, and they've polished that off and then moved on. But the tracks of the Pride are the ones that hunted those buffaloes, so they must have been the ones that brought it down. It's just is a mystery as to what they actually fed on to get their tummies this size, because whatever it wasn't massive. When you see lions eating buffalo, normally they've got these big, swollen, round bellies, so I don't know, maybe they ate something small. Also, we don't know what they've eaten over the last few days. We don't know what their condition was when they came into this area. They might have had something in the manuleti, and they might have been having big full tummies yesterday, and this is just the sort of digestion from last night. Difficult to say. When we don't follow them around every day and don't have them every day, it's hard to put together all the pieces. But if there is a whole buffalo, I doubt they were there and feeding on it. They must have had something else somewhere. But I don't think we're going to stay with our Pride too much longer. As much as I love the Nkuhuma Pride and spending time with them when they're very fast asleep like this, there's not going to be too much more movement for the day. There might just be a bit of shuffling here and shuffling there as the sun comes out. So I think what we're going to do is probably head off, leave them to themselves. We might pop past a little bit later. Also, we'll keep an eye on the dam cam and see if they move that way again, then we can come back. But I think let's go and see what else we can find while Byron's busy with his kill. We maybe try and go see if we can find some ellies or follow up on the leopard tracks. Now, earlier I think I broke up and we kind of dropped off with signal, and gremlins attacked when I was talking about the leopard that moved into this area, and I was saying that it was one of my favorite leopards that came in, and so it wasn't in Chile like I thought it would be. When we heard that it was female tracks coming that way, I thought maybe in Chile. It actually turned out it was Tiani. Now, Tiani is the daughter of Salahesh, and probably one of the most beautiful leopards there is out there. She's got the most incredible eyes, very similar to Tumba, except hers are a little bit more blue than green. So that's a really nice surprise, and I'm hoping that she's going to spend more time this side. So I'm going to go head up that way, go check around, see if I can't find any tracks for Tiani, see if she's maybe still on our property. And so while I do that, let's go back across to Byron, who's staring into the eyes of a lady, and well, I wonder if it's melting his heart.
Well, just in this lady looks like she's well, not looks, but she's feeding at the moment, so it's not quite melting my heart. She looks a little scary. But Sebastian and I were both just commenting on these lines that just this is literally such a wonderful sighting, because one, the light is perfect. We found them at the right time, and just how it all unfolded for us, and to view them like this, still feeding the activity, it's really great, and out in the open too. We're lucky, really lucky, because sometimes when they do make kills, it's in a thicket, and you don't often get to see as much. And look at the light in the male's eyes. So it doesn't look like that injury really is anything too serious for that male. But like I said, these animals do get injured out here. It's not easy hunting big buffalo, and but they heal very quickly. They definitely do. And I don't think this male will be in too much threat or anything of an infection. We've seen these lions get injured before, so. Andrew, now you're asking how long a wound like that would take to heal. Andrew, I've seen wounds heal within a week. A wound like that, to be honest, I honestly think within 2 weeks, I don't think we'd see a bad scar at all. I think it would heal quite quickly, to be honest. I don't know how deep it is. I don't know if it's from a horn. I would assume it's possibly from a horn that went into the side of the leg, perhaps, or maybe a hoof. While they pulled the buffalo down, if the buffalo stood on the line on the side of the leg, maybe. I don't know. Now, we're not going to hang around too much longer, and as I said, it is just an amazing sighting. We've definitely had the best part of it, but we want to obviously make space for some of the other vehicles around, so everybody can have a view of the sighting while there's still activity. But look at that. That's actually a great view of that big male, and he was growling a bit at the female. Now, some of you are wondering if this is perhaps a mating pair. I don't know. I don't think so. But I'm not sure. These males have been following these females around for quite some time. I know, what was it, about 3 weeks ago? When last was it? 3 weeks ago? Oh, now that male's got a bit of a limp. Watch, he's growling, watch. It's amazing how aggressive these lions get when they are feeding. So I'm not sure if they are mating. We haven't seen any mating activity. But I'm sure the rest of the pride were around. So I don't know if the males are just following the pride to see if the females are in estrus. Is there a chance to mate with any of them? Maybe that's why this male is with the pride. As I said, about 3 weeks ago, a month ago, we saw the Nkuhuma Pride, and the males were following them around. 2 males were with them, so possibly looking and testing to see if the females are in estrus and looking to mate. I can hear some ground hornbills calling in the distance too. I need to get them to add to my list. We're going to do some birding, I think, after this. Sorry. Was it Kerry or Terry? Sorry, Alice, I didn't hear if it was Kerry or Terry. Terry. Sorry, Terry. You asked if we can smell that carcass yet, because we are quite close. Not yet, Terry. No. I'm just no, nothing yet. But also the wind is actually blowing, actually from us towards them. So yeah, nothing yet. But I'm sure this carcass at some point will start stinking. But no, nothing yet.
Can I come up the dam, over Barry Dam wall, and then up the valley without
Alright, I think let's just see if there's a bit of aggression here from the male. Let's watch. Yeah. See, I thought so. He obviously wants to feed on that softer portion too. Wow, that female's also covered in blood. So she must have definitely helped her. But again, I don't know who made the kill. She's now decided maybe to lie down and rest. She's been feeding for a while. I mean, she's covered in blood. Going to check quickly where the other guys are so long. Joost for Byron. Joost, what's your position now? Okay, copy Joost. Yeah, I'm going to move out in the next 2 minutes. You can make your way straight in. Yeah, Joost, I think via tele-access, and there's actually a road between Zoe's and Quarantine. I'm not sure. There's another little link road right on the western side of Quarantine, and they're just off that road. Yeah, A-firm. Have a look at that male. He's displaying phlegm at the moment. So what that is the female must have urinated. Now this is possibly linked to our question about if they are mating or not. Have a look. Oh, that would have been an amazing photograph. Perfect light of that male displaying phlegm. The phlegm grimace. So what he's doing is actually tasting and smelling the urine. He's got an organ at the back of his palate called the Jacobson's organ, and he uses that to tell whether or not the female is in estrus and looking and ready to mate. So it looks like he's snarling or smiling, but he's basically tasting the scent, and that organ is very, very sensitive, and he'll be able to tell whether or not she is in estrus. Alright. Well, I think we're going to make our way out of here. Like I said, I just want to give everyone else a chance to see some feeding activity and that. We've had a great view already, probably the best. But we will return later. We'll definitely come past again later. And we'll spend some more time with the lions. Hopefully the rest of the pride do return at some point. That would be really great to see the rest of the pride, and hopefully they all get to feed. And anyway, let's head across to Tristan and find out if he's had any luck with his favorite leopard, apparently, that he was looking for.
Not yet, Byron. We're on our way up towards that area. We're just slowly meandering along. We saw some birds that we tried to put on camera, but they flew away. So with some green pigeons that we had. And then now we're just heading up towards the northern boundary, because I want to just follow the fire break all the way along, see if I can't find those, see if the tracks are not around somewhere in that general vicinity. So I'm just going to try and see if we can't get to that area and try and find some sign of Tiani. It's difficult because it's right up in that corner, so it's possible she's gone back towards Simbamili. It's also possible she's gone into Biffle's Hook. It's not an ideal place. It's not as though I'm 100% confident she is going to be there, but it's worth a try anyway. At the end of the day, you're not going to find anything if you don't head into those areas, so I'm going to try and see if there isn't any sign there. Right, here we go, onto the fire break. Nothing coming from Gallagher, from Biffle's Hook side. This is always a good junction to check. We know Mvula spends a lot of time in this area. There's also varying other individuals that like to walk around here, so worth checking carefully when you get to this junction. I wonder where the lines cross, because I haven't seen them coming down Gallagher Shortcut, but I had their tracks at Gallagher Shortcut via tele-access. They must have come down Albury's and then cut across. And it's funny because when we were looking at those tracks right at the start of the drive, before we even got going, Senzo and I heard something, but we were busy being counted down into our opening, and we thought it was lions growling at one another, and it was. It turns out that where Byron is actually very close to where we were to start the drive, so at least we managed to find that carcass and where the lions are. But it's definitely going to be a great sighting for the next few days. I'm sure Taylor's super happy because we know Taylor loves lions, and she will be loving the fact that she can go out with a bit of a bang and see her favorite Nkuhuma Pride before she goes and sees the multitude of lions that is in the Masai Mara. So I'm sure she's very happy. Well, James, a young female leopard trying to look for a territory. At the end of the day, her mother, her scent and all of that is still lingering in those areas. Down to the south, who will be pushing her north. Supposedly Salacious territory still lies within that Simbamili Elephant Plains area, in Sele to the west of that, and so she's got to push a little bit more why she's heading in this area. And we know that Inchila is also not really settled yet, so it's a perfect place for her to come and check out. It's certainly going to make an interesting mix for all of our females at the moment. We already have enough drama with them, and so it's going to throw another spanner in the works, but it'll be nice to see Tiani again. I hope that we can find her this morning. We unfortunately have a few gremlins, so before they attack properly, let's go back to Byron and see what his plans are going to be now that he's left that gruesome scene.
Well, I don't know what we're going to do. I think I'm going to head down to the dams down in the south, go have a look around there, see what else we find. Who knows? Maybe it's a cat day for us. Maybe we have some luck with some leopard. With everybody now wanting to come into the lion sighting, if we go into another area, I find that often happens once we head into another area. Sometimes we find something else. Ex-Ranger, you say I mustn't forget the birds. And what is the bird count now? Is it 36 or 39? I don't know. Ladies, 36. Yeah, 36. The ladies in final control are keeping track. So thank you very much. There actually, Alice, I do apologize, but there might be a correction that we need to make. I just saw a screenshot of one of the birds we saw yesterday, and I think it was a black flycatcher, Alice. It's marked there under fork-tailed drongo, I think, but I think having a closer look, it's actually a black flycatcher. So we need to just change that, please. So we still need to find. So I just need to find a fork-tailed drongo, but we'll see. Oh, some little birds around here. We're gonna have to. All right, Seb, are you ready for some birding?
Yeah. I'm warm now.
You're warm, yeah, exactly. The lions warmed you up.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of little birds fluttering about over here. Problem is the you know what, the brown-hooded kingfisher, but we saw one the other day, but it's still always nice to get on camera. Just sitting, can you see it? It just turned and it's, there we go, brown-hooded kingfisher. That's great, but we have got that on the list already. We'll see what else we can find, but beautiful bird.
Got red bit on there?
Yeah, we got the red-billed hornbill. There you go, red-billed hornbill. Makeup girl, you asked if the lions ever pay attention to the birds' alarm calling. Well, not really, not the lions, but they definitely do recognize them and hear them. And the thing is, you know what, Seb? Sorry, I just spotted a fork-tailed drongo now. Is straight through that gap on that tree. Can you see that branch through the back there? Oh, there it goes. Again, everyone, so the thing is, the birds, it's not difficult to see the birds, it's difficult to get them on camera. Anyway, sorry, makeup girl. The animals, the predators will definitely react to the bird's alarm calling and recognize them. Lions, yeah, they kind of ignore it and they'll go on their business. But leopards do react to bird alarm calls and other little animals like squirrels and that. Any alarm call that is giving away their position, what the leopards do is they raise their tails up, and some of you might have seen this. They raise their tails up and they show basically that white flash, white tip of the tail. And the reason for that is they want to show that they're not a threat, that they're just passing by. So they make themselves more visible by doing that. So they definitely recognize the alarm calls. They know it's giving away their position, so they make themselves more visible. Basically, I always like to describe it as a surrender sign, I suppose, saying, right, you've seen me, I'm not a threat, I'm just moving through the area, and that's what they do. So yes, the predators definitely react to the bird alarm calls. Lions aren't as phased though. They'll just move past. They don't really worry about it. Sorry, Alice, you cut off there. Oh, okay. Sounds like Tristan has found something else now. A predator that we saw this morning.
Well, we have, Byron. We found another one of the Birmingham Boys. He's very far away in Buffelshoek, Hook, but there he sits. You can see his mane just sticking up out of the grass, so he's taking it easy now. I wonder if there isn't maybe a second one there, because there were reports of two of them on Buffelshoek Hook last night around one of the camps calling for a long period of time, so I would imagine there might be a second one somewhere in that general vicinity. Now Rex is just going to come across and see a car quickly. Sorry about that, guys. He's just quickly cutting across us to try and get towards where that line is, because they can go that way. So it's just inside Buffelshoek, and I hope that there is another one and we'll eventually get to see them come up and get up and walk this way. It bodes well though for tonight. I wouldn't be surprised we get these guys coming towards that buffalo kill, and maybe we'll get lucky and have three of the Birminghams all together this evening. That would be quite nice. But there's also some guinea fowl that are running around. I'm sure they must be careful of what's lurking in the bushes. There's our guinea fowl. So I don't know if Byron's got these on his list, but if he wants guinea fowl, there's a whole flock of them sitting in this area in the long grass, and they're just rooting around for food. They try and check and see if there isn't some little seeds and varying other things that they can get. There's a lion in the distance watching our guinea fowl. And a Franklin that's alarm calling as well in the background. Very nice though. It's nice to just stumble upon another lion. I thought I wasn't sure if it was a lion at first. I said, Senzo, is that a lion? And he said to me, yes, it is. And so very cool. I can't see who it is. I don't know if maybe you guys can see a little bit better. It's still quite glary out here, so difficult to make out which of the males it is. It's definitely one of the Birmingham Boys. I just don't know which one. But I can't make it out, unfortunately. It's just that little bit too far to see. But I believe a lot of you are excited about the fact that we've got a lot of the Birmingham Boys around, and it is very exciting. And hopefully, like I say, these guys hear the commotion and they come southwards and come and dominate that buffalo carcass with Nsuku. It will be nice to have all of them. Imagine if we get the Nkuhuma Pride with 3 of the Birminghams. That would be wonderful. Oh, there we go. Head down, and that's the Birmingham disappeared. So you can see how easy it is to drive past the line. That's what it looks like now. You would never know that there would be a male lion lying in that grass. You would think that there would just be nice big grassy area, but alas, there is danger that lurks right there. So incredible just to see how well they camouflage once they go down and sleep. I think we're going to carry on though, because unfortunately there's no real view from where we are at the moment. It's as soon as that lion sleeps, it's not going to be much of an option for us to actually see anything. So let's carry on. Nice to see though, and maybe some of you can somehow identify that male lion. From where I am, even with binoculars, it's pretty impossible to see who that was. I would imagine maybe it's Mfumo or Tinyo. They've been up this side of the world, so I would imagine it's them. Now, but Byron in his quest to beat Brent Leo Smith, so let's quickly go across to him while he's doing some bird watching.
Follow the rest of the pride, I assume. So I'm just talking on the radio quickly. But that's amazing, that more lions. That's incredible.